We'll continue reading from 1 John, and we're really at verse 18. Haven't made a whole lot of progress in our verses here, but again it says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear." Notice it says, there's no fear in love. You know, think about this for a moment, what is being said here. You know, the more revelation and understanding that we have of Yahuah's love for us, it drives out fear. Perfect love, it says right here, casteth out fear, because fear has torment. You know, there's a lot of people who live in fear today. There's a lot of fear throughout this whole atmosphere, you know, that we live in. You know, now the scripture talks about, you know, there's a fear of Yahuah, or a reverence of Yahuah is really a better word, because Yahuah wants us to reverence him, and fear him is not. See, let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say here. I want my children to reverence me and show me respect, but I do not want them to fear me when I walk in the door, that they're running out of the house because they're afraid that I'm going to yell or scream at them or be mean to them. And so, you know, when the scripture talks about us that we're to fear Yahuah, it's talking about that we should reverence him and respect him and honor him for who he is. He's our creator, but he's also our father. And we need to see him as a loving father, as a father who once we have been born of the Ruach HaKodesh, we are now the sons of Yahuah, as the scripture says. And because of that, then we have an acceptance before him that he loves us, and that we need to understand that, because the more we do understand that, then it'll drive fear out of our lives. See, I don't have a fear. There's so many fears that I have been able to dispel out of my life, because I know who I belong to. This is not based upon me, it's based upon him. I have confidence that knowing that there's provision that he's made for me. I don't have a fear of accidents or disease or things coming in my life, because I know the provisions that have been made for me through the word. Now, and because of that, then I'm able to exhibit my faith and trust in him. And you know, faith is the avenue to which Yahuah is able to get his blessings to us. You know, you have to understand this, that you and I have to believe the word. When he's given us great and precious promises, then we must believe the word, that we must acknowledge the truthfulness of his word. And the scripture says that Yahuah watches over his word to perform it. In other words, he's going to make his word good if you and I will agree with his word. That's why, you know, the scripture says, how can two walk together unless they agree? And so we need to find out what his word says about us, and what his word says about his provisions he's made for us, and then begin to acknowledge that, because he watches over his word to perform it. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I love you. Look forward to our time together next time. And please, again, share this with others. Shalom.